No racial group or ethnic group has a monopoly on talent or intelligence, but certain students do have a monopoly on opportunity. And affirmative action takes that into account and allows for historically underrepresented groups of talented and deserving students to get the college education that they deserve. I've been a student lead of the Affirmative Action Coalition, working to organize around this case for more than a year now. Around 20 plus student groups at Harvard are represented by the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, and we sent forward an amicus brief to the Supreme Court. All of the Asian American groups are represented. Many Latine, Black, Indigenous groups are represented in this coalition. So we've helped with the amicus brief that was sent towards the court, and we had organized the campus along with organized for a rally in DC and at Harvard the day of oral argument. There is no evidence that Harvard systemically discriminates against Asian Americans. A lot of that rhetoric is pushed by Ed Blum and SFFA, and it is a white supremacist rhetoric that works to divide communities of color. They're trying to pit Asian Americans against other communities of color, using us as a ploy for their aims of making Harvard and colleges like us more homogenous and take us back to a period when we weren't diverse, when we weren't representative. And as an Asian American student myself, I talk about my race, my identity in my application. It's an important part of my identity when I'm in college, and I can't imagine having an admissions process that doesn't take that into account, that doesn't have that as an important aspect. And I think as an Asian American, talking about my identity, making part of my admissions process helped me get into Harvard. And I reject any rhetoric that says that affirmative action discriminates against people like me. I think that's an essential part of preparing students for a multiracial democracy and allowing for an equitable America. And without affirmative action, I think that's going to be really hard to achieve in the college admission space. But we will continue to work with a multiracial coalition to figure out what colleges and universities can do now, some of which is removing legacy admissions, thinking of other ways to represent underrepresented groups at these schools. So there's definitely a lot of work to be done, but we're not going to stop. We will continue to work as hard as we can to mitigate the impacts of this decision, of this case. We will continue our fight, but this is just a really scary reality to be living in right now.